I actually have been paying attention to some of this trans debate stuff. The famous 1v9 debate. The thing that really incensed me about it, that nobody else pointed out, one of the panelists was very keen to make the point that plenty of female athletes right now, massive overrepresentation, are intersex. But then, on the same hand, she was trying to make the argument that a man becoming a trans woman wouldn't have an athletic advantage. But it's like it contravenes her own point she made earlier, which was that women who are intersex clearly have an advantage over the general population based on their higher representation at the higher echelons of professional sports. So she's already acknowledging, like, being further along on that path from your average cis woman is conferring you an advantage in the athletics department. So is it really so much of a stretch from that point to then think, like, going one step further than that's going to confer even more of an advantage, or at least as much of an advantage? So yeah, I mean, I felt like somebody should have made that point, but yeah, but high Q, mate. Team Discourse is going to end soon, and then Steven's not doing D&D for a while, so if we want the stream to keep going, we've got to have something to do. Gordon Ramsay time? No, we're going to watch this. We're doing politics, mate. We're going to watch this. Hassanabi called us transphobes. Hear why.
It seems somebody wanted to respond to a video we did.
I love the argument. I don't even need to see it.
Good point, Mr. Alien, now. Yeah.
I don't even need to see it to know what the argument is, which is going to be, and I'm going to tell you right now, the argument is probably going to be, no, it is on.
I feel like I'm missing something here. What's the... They're giving each other a look. Like I might say in D&D, like I give them a look that says, you know, pull out your sword and stab them in the back.
Boy.
But I don't understand the look that they're giving each other. Thanks to the follow.
Natural to be trans. Because that's how it is. Literally, when you argue with fucking transphobes, the only argument they have is relying on what other people also feel about trans people. Because
what does that mean? When you argue with transphobes, all their arguments are about what other people feel about trans people?
The normative position to be fucking transphobic.
But the thing is, that's the thing, and what we meant by that.
So what he's saying there is that the normative position is transphobic. I think that's only true if you classify viewing trans women in sports as being somewhat problematic. I think if you've got any issue with that, if that makes you transphobic, having an issue with that, I think Sam's probably right. I think most people probably are transphobic by that definition. But I don't think that I'm a transphobe. Not at all. But I kind of do feel like there is maybe something to be concerned about that. And you know what? I don't think Destiny's a transphobe either, and he thinks that too.
Is being trans is not, but transitioning is. But whatever.
Hold on. I just want to do one better. It's not what we meant. It's literally what we said. I watched it back. We didn't say being trans is unnatural. No. We said transitioning is. Hormone therapy, all this stuff, all of it's very natural. You know, taking puberty blockers or like hormone blockers, taking all this stuff, perfectly natural. He really said that transitioning is natural. It's not. I'm not saying.
I do think that this is quite a difficult line to go down, because I do think calling it unnatural is does come across quite badly, doesn't it? I think depending on your definition, I think it's quite easy. Like if I was him and I'd said that and I had to defend myself, I could make an argument as to what I meant. I could say that, you know, well, clearly, you know, making hormones in a lab and then injecting them in yourself or giving them to yourself, like that's not a natural process. If it was natural, then you just have your natural hormones. But then, you know, I don't think that like medicine is unnatural. Like I don't think having chemotherapy is unnatural and therefore bad. Like that's a pretty stupid thing to say. So whilst we still all agree, presumably, that hormone treatment and transitioning is the best treatment for gender dysphoria, then I don't think it's fair to call that unnatural.
Saying that just gender dysphoria is not natural. That's not what we're talking about. Transitioning is nothing natural.
It's like saying that taking steroids is natural. It's not. I know.
Yeah. That's not what we meant. That's literally what we said.
I know.
Yeah.
And he's just not gonna watch it and deem us transphobe. So if listen, dude, if you're gonna watch something and do commentary with something said and not watch what they said and build a narrative, you haven't said anything.
Fair enough.
That's the dumbest way to do a take. That's the dumbest way to dispute someone's narrative or whatever. I don't know, it's because you don't have any arguments or whatever or not, and you base yourself on, oh, this is what they do. This is what they do. That's what they do. You, for someone that don't want to be typecasted, that's just weird that you do that, but whatever.
Hey. You're just saying that because you're a transphobe.
Yes, sure.
Let's keep watching.
God, fucking 10-hour.
By the way, the irony of the fact that they're reacting to a video and I'm reacting to them reacting to a video is not lost on me. This is the world we're in now. This is what you people want to see. Just rehashing the same fucking content, the same opinions over and over again. Is that what you want? If that's what you want, fine, I'm here for it.
I covered the shit for like 10 fucking hours and they cut like 30 seconds and go, this is so stupid. Trans people are weird and unnatural. And then everyone's like, Pog! Fuck yeah!
Wait, why is there somebody talking in the background?
He's in here.
Dumbass.
Nice one, Hassan. You got Wait, what the fuck? Why is he got a picture of the Queen behind him? What a loser. And a basketball with his name on it. How fucking cringe. And a little dog with a USSR hat. Yeah, and then another. Is that another USSR hat down there? And he's got a little post saying Hassan's daycare. Oh my god.
And Preach were the ones that were DMCA for criticizing Fresh and Fit. Wait, what? Really? They're actually, I don't know anything about them. So they are actually not bad? What the fuck? Oh, but they said my C word ban was good. Like I deserved it. And I was a racist for saying cracker.
That's also not what we said.
What? What the fuck?
Hey, man, we have Jordan Peterson moment. What you said was, so what you're saying is, that's not what we said.
My God, just, I'm nothing. You know what?
Let me just keep
watching. You know what?
I don't understand the word. I don't know what the debate is like, but I do feel like there is a difference between using the what's the term, the N-word slur towards a black person and using the word, I guess I meant to say that the C slur to describe a white person. Like I do think there's a difference there, personally.
No. Just no. This is so stupid and asinine. Like, you put work. That's how you build your narrative. You're just gonna lie about the whole thing? Ah, you stupid fuck. That's the thing, all right? I really want a motherfucker to be able to explain to me his point of view. That's just all I want. Want to have a conversation with a motherfucker. But no, you dumbass bitch. You're just gonna invent shit. You're low. You invent shit. That's what you do. Like, what is it with you? You're not smart enough to dispute or just to say to take a point that someone says and go on that point. You gotta lie.
It's easier to straw man something.
Like you stupid. Is it because you're stupid or you're not able to do it? What is it? Which one is it?
This guy's got intense energy.
You know your shit. You've been talking about that shit a whole lot of time. It's really simple. Listen to what we gotta say and then go on that. But you gotta lie? Like how dumb are you? Like you know you're dumb. You're not mentally capable.
It's the best $75 you ever spent.
Waste of money? I think not.
Don't push me like that for me to stop. I'm not stopping. You know you're not mentally fucking capable of doing this shit. Is that what it is? What is it? That's gotta lie?
Let's just watch the whole thing and see what they got.
God damn. Stop. No. Hey, I remember one time we had a fucking conversation and you told me about, I told you I was on you because of ghosting. It's like, well, why you ghost? You owe these motherfuckers an explanation. It's like, no, I don't hold these motherfuckers shit because they didn't have the courtesy. These motherfuckers see that I was annoyed.
True.
And they were annoying me and they were getting on my nerves and they didn't have no courtesy there.
I'm missing the reference here.
I have to show this month.
But just to address what the one who shall not be named has said, insulting someone based on their race is racist. I actually don't think in terms of white people that's necessarily always true. Like I might have a conversation with someone and be like, do you know what, you're just an entitled white person. Like you can't see, like maybe we're talking about Black Lives Matter, like you can't understand what it's like for a black person's relationship with the police just because you're like an entitled white person. Like, that's sort of like an insult, but I don't think that's racist to say that, even though I'm still making some claim about them based on the color of their skin. I don't think that necessarily makes it racist. Isn't it racist but not bad? No, I don't think it is. I don't necessarily think it is. Well, what does... I mean... Oh yeah, flip the script, exactly. But this is something that always gets said by the right, like, you know what, if a man said that to a woman, that'd be sexist. Or if a black person said that, if a white person said that to a black person, that'd be racist. But yeah, but that's because history and the politics of power and oppression absolutely are a big factor in determining like when something is racist or is racial hatred, essentially. So to me, the left-wing arguments about that make sense. Like I can see that. Now I do agree that there is a point where it would become, there's like certain situations that you could conceive where it would be like racist to discriminate against someone being white, but I don't think that that's happening very, very often in like Western countries.
Motherfucker courtesy of listening to his video when he don't listen, he don't bother, he just makes shit up.
Hey, but he's accusing us of doing the same thing in that when we reacted to the clip, you get what I'm saying? And so now we've only reacted to a certain segment. Let's watch it in its entirety, all right? And then we can go in.
You need to fucking chill, dude. Like, you're 4 or 5 minutes into the video, you're already blowing your load. You need to just calm down. I think the guy on the right here, this guy, he's more about the optics. Like, he knows what's going on. This guy, he's too real. He's just fucking reacting, you know? He just doesn't give a fuck. I like that. But this guy is the better YouTuber.
This is some stupid shit.
We could go in.
We already went in.
Listen to him.
Saying. Let's give it a
We don't even have to go in. We just have to open the door and watch how fucking shit it is. Oh, look. There's fucking must and debris everywhere.
Hey, dookie smells. Let's go.
Dookie smells.
Why not? Why is it assuming the argument at least? Because I made a fucking promise that I wasn't gonna engage with like idiotic bad faith fucking debates, okay? That's why.
I think so he's
just to be clear, what he means by bad faith debate is like anyone that can prove him wrong, right?
accusing you of what you accusing him. He's saying we in bad faith, all this other stuff. So, you know what I mean? It's back and forth.
But he just acknowledged that he didn't fucking even watch the video. At least we went on what he said.
Yeah, and his statement in the vacuum.
Think about it in the eyes of an individual. If you call some poor meth-addicted white guy a cracker, then explaining that it's not racist because of class imbalance, etc., it would still feel shitty for that white dude. Absolutely, yes. And I kind of do agree that a lot of what's happening in politics right now is because of a lot of poor white people, poor working class white people, feel let down by society. And they feel by the cultural discussion that they're being told that they're privileged because they're white, and actually their lives kind of suck, and the government isn't helping them, and things are getting worse, and they're kind of getting left behind, their towns are getting left behind, and they think, do you know what, this whole left-wing narrative of like, you know, everyone being behind like racial equality for black people, and sort of like they feel like shitting on white people, it's not fair, and now I'm going to vote for Trump or I'm going to vote for Boris Johnson.
Yeah, boy.
It's a difficult topic, but I think that white crack addict actually does have some privilege versus a black crack addict from the same neighborhood, right? So just because overall they're not very privileged doesn't mean that they don't have some privilege for being white.
Was idiotic. It's not like we were looking at his whole stance in totality.
That's why, because I know for a fact that it literally doesn't go into any other area. It just simply is, I will do a thoughtful and fucking, 30-minute to 40-minute analysis on what they said, what they got wrong, and then they will turn around and clip something and basically, use that as a video opportunity.
Well, what video opportunity? Like, hold up. You're acting like we took a 30-second clip and made a 10-minute video on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we just took one clip as a more ensemble to like showcase how stupid.
I really need to take a piss. I'm still listening. I'll be back in a sec.
It's not to say that I've reacted to his entirety, so don't get so butthurt, bro. That's why I'm looking at this. I'm like, bro, the angle and the ego you have to think like that video was about you or to rebuttal you is crazy to me. You weren't in the thumbnail, you weren't in the title, you were just in the video for like 20 seconds. Breathe, motherfucker. It's not that deep. But anyways, you know what? This is what we're gonna do.
I'm good now.
You good?
I'm good now.
This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna watch your thoughtful video and we'll see what it's all about.
it's over for me on that front. Like I am. If you think that that's like me running away from criticism, then go ahead. You are semi-correct. They said transitioning is unnatural, but not being trans. Oh, okay, got it. Oh, cool.
Oh, dude. Oh. So what you got to say about that? Just cool, bro. That's because you didn't watch the fucking video. You know what?
Hold on,
No.
I want to watch it. I want to watch it.
I'm good. Go.
You're a Quebecian comedian.
So this happened to
Here,
someone
I won't do the bad faith thing and like not even look at their take because
to give a bit of generosity to Hassan though. I actually, now the more I think about it, I don't think they meant it like that, but if you've got a big platform, I mean, even me, have some responsibility for your narrative and like how you're constructing your sentences and the words you're using. And I think using the word unnatural, even if in their own mind there's nuance to that and they don't really mean it in a derogatory way, I do think it's a problematic way to phrase the point they're trying to make. And I feel like I'm being as generous as I can be to them right now. I'm not saying that they are transphobic, but I'm just saying it's maybe expressed in a pretty unsympathetic way.
because now they're going to clip that and use that to be like, oh, he didn't even see what we had to say.
Oh, we was about to go in. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, you was about to create a moment. Smart on you. See, you just proved to me that you're not that dumb. I appreciate you.
This is the thoughtful video he did on the subject matter.
Thank you.
Have you already covered that trans athlete winning this swimming competition? Genuinely just curious about your thoughts on it. My position, first and foremost, is like, I don't care. And my secondary position is like, I think you don't care either. You're just like trying to make an argument. You're just trying to debate about it. And my third and final position ultimately is that it straight up does not matter. Absolutely does not matter in the grand scheme of things. Even if trans women were completely dominating certain fields of sport, the only reason why you would consider that to be completely inappropriate and unnatural is if you think trans women are unnatural. And that's...
Do you think he actually thinks that? Like, he's saying that if let's say 90% of top female athletes were trans women, and saying that that's not an issue. I honestly think it's insane. Because, I mean, if that's the point, like, why would you ever have, if you're not concerned about overrepresentation of groups, then why would you ever have gendered sports in the first place? Because, yeah, men win everything, so what? I think it's just such a reductive take. I mean, does he actually think that? I don't think he does think that.
That's it.
This is the thoughtful video. Here we go.
And that is where transphobia comes from, which is basically the idea that trans women are somehow not normal, they're abnormal,
I need to get a new
they're
light
weird.
suit. You're right.
I get it. Like, I understand. Even if it does have a competitive advantage, I'm saying I don't care because they're still a trans woman. You know what I mean? I think that trans women are women, and that the only reason why you consider that to be unfair is because you think they're doing it from a place of like cheating.
Yo, real talk.
So fucking dumb. It's do you know what? It's not only is it dumb, it's like it's quite bad faith because I think it's gone massively uncharitable to everyone else on the other side of the debate.
I feel like every trans activist just walks into the room and sees a debate going, like, yo, I got this. Yo, I'm gonna shut this whole bitch down. Trans women are women. Mic drop. Hey, you already know. We got him. Hey.
Well, I do think that trans women are women. And I kind of do feel like if you say that trans women aren't women, that is a little bit transphobic, to be honest. Especially the fact that phrase has become kind of a calling card for trans liberation or equal rights for trans people. I think if you go about saying trans women aren't women, then you're trying to make a point, and the point you're trying to make is probably a transphobic one. Same way as like people who would go around saying all lives matter. Yeah, like no shit, all lives matter. But why are you trying to phrase it like that? You're clearly trying to make a point. So, yeah.
Hey, listen, trans women are women, so you ain't gotta say nothing. And if you disagree, that means you transphobic.
Hello,
that's
my
what it
lady.
means.
You look so beautiful.
Oh my God, that's what they're doing.
That's really what they do.
MSW, I have to
argument than
disregard
that.
the hardship and
You know what,
struggles of
Chris?
trans
Yes, he has
people
been
because
concerned, I
after
know.
all,
But
trans
still
women
not
are
women.
women and there is no nuance to it.
Yeah, Timmy Hugh. Thanks for the 11 months. I agree with you, yeah. Trans women are women, of course, but cis and trans women are subcategories of women. Trans women are advantaged in sports. Yes, true. Don't disagree with that. Absolutely. The most reasonable take, right? Like, there's nothing controversial in that. 99.9% of people would agree with that.
And at the end of the day, sports is not about your gender expression. It's about your sex, your biology. Nobody cares about your gender expression. Gender and sex are different. Though we call it women's sports, it was really just about you calling it female sports. The reason why is about physiology. Nobody cares about how you express
agree with this.
So to me, when people say, well, I think they should compete because trans women are women, it doesn't matter. That's not the point of why we created the category or why we sequester women to this segment of society when it comes to sports. It's because biologically speaking, there's a difference. That's all it comes down to. So I don't understand why people say stuff like, well, I think that they should be able to access these sports because trans women are women. That's not what it's about. We're talking about biology and motherfuckers are still talking about gender expression. Who cares? Nobody cares what you identify as. Not as far as this conversation goes.
You're transphobic.
I care what you identify as.
Trans women are women. And if you disagree, that means you're a transphobe. Social justice unite!
And the worst thing is that we do agree.
We agree.
Hello, my lady.
But these things are separate.
You look so beautiful. Ooh la 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 la.
Is there truly this much debate about this in the world, or is it just our part of the internet? I wonder.
I actually do think that this is a real debate in the world right now. I've seen articles in The Economist about trans sports recently. So I do think that this is happening, and I'm not massively clued up on the issue, but I do believe this is probably due to that, what's that girl's name? The swimmer, right? The one that they were talking about in the 1v9 debate that Destiny did, Leah something. Yeah, Leah Thomas, yeah. It's because of her. So I do think, clearly, the whole of Twitch politics is up in arms about this because Destiny got banned, and regardless of what Hassan says, the Twitch politics sphere it's been made by Destiny. Even now, Destiny does more for it than Hassan. Like, Hassan might have more viewers, but how many new Twitch politics creators is Hassan like helping grow, helping platform? Like, Destiny is all the time using his clout to help smaller streamers, even though he himself has less viewers than Hassan. He's still doing more for the space than Hassan is, by far. If you agree with Destiny, aren't you risking to get banned? If I get banned, if anything I've said tonight gets me banned, then so be it. Like, I don't think I've said anything controversial. I think that I've made reasoned points. I think I've pushed back on things when I've seen it in chat that I think's been out of order, which I know is kind of some of the criticism that Steven got, which was probably the stuff that was harder for him to defend, was like, oh, but your community did this, your community did that. Now, I don't agree that he didn't push back on that. I think he probably does push back on it more than most streamers would. But I've tried to do that. I tried to push back when I didn't see stuff. I don't think I've said anything that's transphobic. If I get banned by that for Twitch, well, I think it's stupid.
But that's not what we're talking about.
If you go to the doctors, okay, yes, trans women are women, but guess what? You still have the physiology, right, and the biology of a male. As a result, when you go to the doctor, that's going to factor in. They shouldn't just be like, well, trans women are women, so I'm going to treat you like... It's a different ballgame. So when it comes to risk for certain diseases, different things, they have to acknowledge the fact that you're biologically a male.
Ma'am, you have prostate cancer. No, trans women are women. You're gonna die.
You have ma'am, you got testicular cancer.
No, trans women are women. That's not what we're talking about. And yeah, you are a woman. It doesn't defeat the.
Well, women are also at 75% risk for getting trans. No, males are. Okay, some aspects are more linked to your biology than your gender expression. It's not a complicated thing.
I won't get
banned. It's
not
transphobic to say this. Most people.
Let's be honest. Let's hit the real truth here. Steven didn't get banned for what he said. Steven got banned because Twitch got sick of him always pushing the boundaries and always getting temporary bans, and they just thought, you know what, this guy's not really worth the trouble. He actually spends half his time on the platform slagging Twitch off anyway, so like, fuck him. That's the truth. That's what happened. And do you know what? Like, maybe that's fair enough. Like, it's kind of fucked up that he could have his career ruined over that. And it is fucked up, but at the same time, capitalism. So kind of they can do what they want. And he probably was causing them more trouble than he was worth them in income. So if they just want to say, look, listen, do you know what? You're not on the platform anymore. But I would have appreciated them being honest about that, which is really what fucked me off, is that they were willing to just... The fact that they're willing to ban him without telling him why, it's just dishonest, and it doesn't fill me, as a Twitch partner, it doesn't fill me with a great deal of confidence in the platform to know that I could just be kicked off it and lose the income without so much as an explanation. That is kind of fucked, so, you know, I can see why people are upset about it. I'm saying it's their company. No, I'm saying that because of capitalism, it's their company, they can do what they want, so that's basically my point. I don't even think he got banned for what he said on Twitter, did. I think he got banned because Twitch decided he was more trouble than he was worth. I'm not criticizing capitalism for it. I'm saying that Twitch is an independent company, and therefore they can do what they want. The reason I cited capitalism is because plenty of people on the right will complain about social media companies silencing their creators, whilst at the same time be happy to make the argument that that company shouldn't have to make a cake for a gay person's wedding or whatever. But I'm not going to get hung up on that. Let's carry on.
People would agree with this notion, so I don't understand why there's so much pushback online.
And it's fine.
But it's because you don't care. Like you said, you don't care about the fact that this is unfair. You don't care about this. You just want to be able to say your fucking spiel from your political spectrum, and then that's it. You walk away, you good. But this is your thoughtful response. Absolutely impeccable. This is way better than the clip I saw.
Like you think that there's something like mischievous going on behind the scenes, and like I personally think that not a single human being on the planet is going to undergo HRT, gender confirmation therapy, literally fucking like get brutalized by people over and over again for just the crime of existing, have their existence be debated on in public
this is
by
a really
academics
stupid point.
every fucking day just to win like swim victories. Like you're
No one is saying that people are transitioning purposely for the reason to win at sports. Like, no one is saying that, because everything he's just said is absolutely true. Like, I mean, who would go through that out of choice? That is a complete straw man, because that is, I've not heard a single serious person. I'm sure Nick Fuentes is making that point. I'm sure some of those other dumb fucks that were on that on Dylan Burns' podcast that time with me would probably happily make that point. But no one serious is making that point.
psychotic.
It reminds me of the people who say, what woman would ever rake up a rape accusation? Or a Weinstein accusation?
Okay, see, now they're missing the point here, because they're going to say that that's a ridiculous thing to say that no one would do that, but I actually disagree with them.
And it's like, well, you find out people will lie for anything. People will go through a whole ass double life, cheat on people who gave them their kidneys, do the most fuckery shit. It is possible. Do I believe that most of these folks are doing that? No. But to sit there like, nobody would? That's not true. In fact, there's some people who claim to be trans so they can get into certain spaces and prey on people. Now, of course, this is the minority of folks, and I wouldn't even say...
I mean, OFG, I don't think that's true. Like, I don't think that a male weightlifter could turn up to the Olympics and go, I'd like to compete as a woman, please. Like, I don't know the specifics. I'm pretty certain that it don't work like that.
Like, that's the thing. But just like the Wii Spa incident, where it turns out the person who was in those change rooms was an offender, there's some people who will use whatever it takes to get to where they...
That again. Now we're arguing the other side. The idea that, I mean, this is the J.K. Rowling thing. The idea that anyone is like, I'm going to pretend to be a woman to go into a woman's bathroom so I can rape a woman is so fucking stupid. Like, if I want to rape a woman in a bathroom, in a public bathroom, who the fuck's going to stop me right now? The fact that it says female on the door, that's not going to stop me walking in the door and doing whatever I want. I mean, it literally makes no sense. It's a fucking stupid argument.
To go. I'm not saying this in this situation. It's not something we've ever said.
No.
But, yeah.
So I'm not even going to talk about that.
Ship to who, though?
It's pure projection. Stop using misogyny to defend trans women. What? I've never... What? I've literally not done that. I don't know where... What? Because you said you don't care about women's sports?
Absolutely not the sides. Yeah, they definitely wouldn't want that.
I don't care about any fucking sports. But
Straight
anyone who
to
says that they
Hassan.
don't care...
Good one.
Anyone who says that they care about like high school...
Hey, I hope he
sports
watches
is
it,
just
mate.
a fucking liar. Like, absolutely a liar. They're lying to you.
Okay.
What did he say then?
Situation, it's not something we've ever said.
No.
But
It's pure projection. Stop using misogyny to defend trans women. What? I've literally not done that.
I don't know, it's in the post.
What? Because you said you don't care about women's sports. I mean, I don't care about any fucking sports. But anyone who says that they don't care, anyone who says that they care about like high school women's sports is just a fucking liar. Like,
except for people in high school, right? Right? Like that. Yeah, sure. No fucking adults care about high school sports. Well, apart from if it's your kids. Like, no one's sitting here like, oh man, did you watch the recent high school female basketball game between, you know, Dumbfuck Colorado Town 1 and Dumbfuck Colorado Town 2? No, I don't. And no, I don't care. But if that were my kids, I would care. If I was those kids, I would care. So I'm not really sure the point he's trying to make, but it doesn't really make sense.
absolutely a liar. They're lying to you.
Okay, so when people ask me about this, right? Do we care about high school women's sports? Well, who cares about high school women's sports? And the people who live in that area traditionally do. Yeah. There's plenty of high school teams that are heavily supported by the local community, the alumni, folks who come to watch. Depends on where you live. But this is not a matter of like, we care about each individual high school sport or college sports or anything like that. It's about the principle of what we're seeing unfold in front of us. That's all it comes down to. So folks out here saying, hey, that doesn't seem very right to me or fair, are doing it from a perspective like, my high school team, what's going to happen to them? Most of us are coming from like, yo, we see something that seems clearly unjust. And it just doesn't sit right with the fact that everyone's closing their eyes like it's the Bird Box Challenge because of some like political
God, that Bird Box challenge.
You get what I'm saying?
It was a Bird Box challenge?
It feels like it, doesn't
like
it?
Like motherfucker was walking in the street blindfolded?
That's what it feels like.
I ain't mad at that.
That's what it feels like.
It feels like that.
Hey Hassan, I support trans women in sports, but please stop with if they dominated women's sports, it doesn't matter. It matters to plenty of women athletes out there, and they.
Oh, okay. I'm interested to see what he'll say to this because this is a direct criticism of what I would have said.
To fight transphobia is with knowledge. Data's out there. The most trans women don't have a significant competitive edge in sports. Let them participate. I mean, I mentioned that all the time as well.
That is not true. See, if you would have done a well thought out response, you would have actually looked into it because most studies and the preliminary ones indicate that there's some measure of advantage. Yes, it is measurable, whether it be fucking bone density, lung capacity, all these things. Most of the studies do that. Now, there's still more data to come out, but undoubtedly, just judging by the fact...
I did find it pretty cringe in the debate where that person kept saying, like, there has been studies and it shows that, like, long-distance running, trans women have an advantage over cis women because they've got better, like, lung capacity or something. And it's like, I think Destiny did try and make the point, but, like, if you're acknowledging that they have an advantage in lung capacity, and then that does confer an actual advantage in the sport of long distance running, then how can you not then see that they would have at least some advantage in basically every other sport where, you know, not getting winded is a factor? Like, it might not be the defining characteristic, but it's still some advantage.
Like, looking at how much more successful trans women are compared to trans men, okay? And just what the studies that we have so far, the science is pretty indicative that there's an advantage. And remember what I told you last time? Where the standard is trash. Mm-hmm. The test levels or whatever they have to meet is like 6 times higher than average cis woman. Yeah. So it's like, you're not even really making them do a real transition where they're meeting like the normal levels of a cis woman after 1 year. So I don't understand how folks can say, I'm doing a thoughtful response, it's going to be really good, blah, 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 blase, blase.
That actually might be true, Red Rabbit, but I'm pretty certain that one of the people on the debate was making the point that the studies showed that trans women have an advantage in running. Maybe it wasn't ultra long distance. Somebody was making that point.
You watch it and it's like, bruv, this is full of nonsense and misinformation.
But it's been full of misinformation. How am I going to be surprised that it's full of misinformation from a guy that is misinformed about us?
Facts.
That he's spreading lies about us, saying that we said some shit that we haven't said, did some shit that we haven't done, putting words in our mouth, and now I gotta be surprised that he does this with numbers and statistics. Mm-hmm. Nah, I'm not surprised at all. That's what you do. Whatever it fits your narratives, that's a low key noble. That's a low key noble. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he lied, but it's for the cause, so it's good. No, it's not. No, it's not. You're doing a big disservice to the cause that you're serving by being low key noble, by lying like that. You're lying. You're straight up lying.
agree with that. He doesn't help.
And that's precisely why I always say, like, even if they were dominating, which they usually aren't, even if they were dominating, who cares? Trans women are still women. You don't have this kind of attitude towards, like, any sort of tall people who are naturally tall. You don't have this sort of attitude towards Messi, who had to literally take supplements and steroids specifically to, I think, what is it, like combat early onset dwarfism, if I'm not mistaken. Like, you cherish people when...
What the fuck did he just say?
I mean, I think about Messi taking the hormones when he was a kid to combat dwarfism is quite interesting. I mean, I guess that would be like an edge case. And it would be up to a doctor to decide whether or not that would confer an advantage to him. But I do kind of think maybe, you know, maybe there is some truth to that. And I think the point of, like, why not categorize sports by, like, height? Like, well, in some sports we do categorize by weight, obviously, like in combat sports. That's not that's not like an idea that's not been considered or not been implemented. The reason why we were categorizing by sex, essentially, or gender, as it actually was called, is just because it was such a clear, defined line. You know, like in basically every sport, men have an advantage over women. You know, like tall people don't have an advantage over smaller people in every sport. But men generally have an advantage over women in every sport. And it was easy to quantify, like, where the line is, man or woman. It's not like, you know, where do we set the line? Should it be 3 inches higher? Should it be 3 inches lower? Like, that's more complicated. Whereas women having their own sports, that makes sense. I mean, to be honest, a lot of, like, well, actually, no, we won't go into that point.
You don't have this attitude towards tall people, or Lionel Messi, who had to take some injections when he was a kid to combat dwarfism. So basically, he has, like, an unfair advantage because he was given steroids as a kid. This is... Oh, man.
Are we done?
Hey, bro.
Listen, because the thing is this.
Go for it. Talk to me.
Like I said before, in every freaking videos we do on this fucking subject.
Right.
There's nothing else I'm going to say
that
I haven't said.
Yeah, I agree. I know exactly what you're talking about. It feels like you're just smacking your head.
This guy seems fucking mad. Like, is he always like this? He seems like he's on the edge of getting fucking super pissed at any moment.
Against the wall.
Straight up.
Yeah. But for some people, they like a bit of that pain. I think I'm one of those people. Don't go lie. Like, you don't think I know? I've repeated some lines. Yeah. I'm like, oh, bitch, I said this verbatim last time. Yeah. 100%.
Verbatim.
Even the like some
audience members,
are
right.
like
It works
the
though.
words before they even come out of my
Straight
mouth.
up. They know.
They know.
They know.
We know. Yeah. So we know. Technically speaking, there is no such thing as men's sports. There's just sports. And there's female sports. If women could compete in the male diamond, they can join. But they can't. And so we segregate them.
Yeah.
It's not because there's no such thing as men's sport. There's no men's tennis. There's tennis and there's women's tennis. Serena Williams doesn't exist without women's tennis. She's not getting no dubs, no wins. Nobody cares.
That's not our word, by the way.
That's hers.
That's not our words. That's not roll the clip. That's not us.
That's right.
That's her saying
That's her.
Actually, it's funny because Andy Murray, he was been joking about myself and him playing a match, and I'm like, Andy, seriously, like, are you kidding me? Because for me, tennis and men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because it's true. It's true. It's a completely. It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game, and I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. I would not do the tour. I wouldn't do Billie Jean any justice. So Andy, stop it. Yeah. I'm not gonna let you kill me.
So whenever John McEnroe was saying, "Yo, she's the,"
I'm done with that now. I will say though, the split between sports and women's sports, as they put it, it's not all down to genetic advantage though. There's also the fact that just the infrastructure for women to get into sports at young ages just didn't exist. So, for example, you'd go to your normal, your average secondary school in the UK, and there'd be a football team in that school, and only boys would ever get on the team because they'd be the ones that would try out, they'd be the ones that would get on, And there was just no real space for women to compete in football at a young age on a sort of semi-competitive level. So then when those women got older, they'd never had the training to like get into the sport in the first place. And my argument and my proof for this will be looking at like female chess tournaments. Now, no one's going to convince me that men have an advantage in chess genetically over women. And yet still there's a need for women's like a women's category in the chess world. And I think that's a similar sort of thing. Like women are only just now starting to get into chess, and therefore separating out a space for women to allow those women coming up to compete at lower levels of skill. They can be in a competitive environment at lower levels of skill than they would be if they had to compete in the men's leagues. Gives them an opportunity for the sport to grow, for the sport for women to grow, and then for more women in the future to get better and hopefully start challenging in the men's tournaments. So there is two elements to it. It's not all just about genetics, but I mean, obviously, I don't think you can ignore the genetic angle.